Hey guys, for Millennium 95, recording live from Local County Prison Cell. It is currently 3:30 in the morning. I cannot sleep, and I have to be up in like an hour, so I'm just gonna kill time by doing this, rather than making any futile effort to sleep. So, if I just trail off, or I, go silent for a minute or whatever, keep in mind it's because I'm on no sleep right now, and that's why I sound like death right now. That's why I look like death right now. Um, Also, the reason you guys will probably notice if you're watching this when this comes out and not like 2 years later, that this is I didn't do a prediction video for Hercules versus Sung Wukong. That's not because I don't think it's a serious fight or anything. It's just because they're using, like, as far as I can tell, just the general mythologies of both characters, which, using death battle rules, they could really use, like, anything, and it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? So, that's why I chose to skip that one. It'll be out tomorrow. I'll probably be doing a prediction of whatever comes next on, hopefully, like, next week. Um, but this is a fight I feel like even on 30 minutes of sleep I'm qualified to do here. This is the Starship Enterprise versus the Millennium Falcon. Now this is interesting because this is a vehicle fight technically, right? This isn't like two characters. These are, ships fighting. Or the crews of the ships fighting with the ships, I suppose I should say. And also, if anyone knows me or has seen a lot of my recurring videos, I am a very avid Star Trek fan. I'm I'm okay with Star Wars. I know a lot of the source material, but I don't know the I'm not as familiar with the extended universe and whatnot. But going into this, let's just begin here. So we're going to be using Kirk's Enterprise for this, right? So this is a Constitution class starship. It is about the size of a small city, and weapons would include phasers, photon torpedoes. It has scanning instruments. It has a what do you call it? It has a transporter, the ability to break down people into particles, individual atoms, and then reassemble them bit by bit in another location. It has the crew, it has Kirk as the captain, it has Spock as the first officer, it has, McCoy, Scotty, Chekhov, Sulu, the whole gang, Asura, or Ahura, not Asura, Asura. Fucking awesome. If Asura was Asura was in that. And yeah, so in Star Trek we know that individual phasers, like personal phasers that they carry, can wipe out entire city blocks on, at maximum spread, maximum setting. And it's pretty much stated that the phasers that are attached to ships could disintegrate planets at that same setting. So these are pretty heavy duty. And then photon torpedoes are, pack a similar punch. And then probably the most impressive feature and the most notable feature is the shields. The shields always hold. Notice. The shields have held, Starfleet ships. Now, that granted, what I'm about to reference here has happened across multiple different points in time, but Starfleet shields have survived flying through a collapsing star. They've survived the literal hand of a Greek god pressing again, trying to crush them. They've survived, batterings from dozens, sometimes hundreds of other ships firing these same types of weapons at them. So the shields are like probably the most impressive feature. They're more or less hard light energy shields. Um, also, so it and they do the ship's able to reroute auxiliary power and take apart life support and take apart all these other different functions to supply more power to the shield, supply more power to the guns, supply more power. They're able to reroute all of their power to give their weapons more, or their equipment more, oomph. And yeah, so that's. I mean, I feel like even if you're not a Star Trek fan, you kind of know about the Enterprise, but maybe not everyone knows the specifics of it. So the Millennium Falcon. Oh shit! I'll cover what I just missed later. So Millennium Falcon is the ship, of course, captained by Han Solo and I guess assisted with by Chewbacca. Um, I wouldn't feel right putting like Lando, Leia, Luke, or anyone else on this because especially Luke, because Luke could theoretically just fucking crush or attempt to crush the Enterprise with the Force. But you know, the only constants on the ship really are Han and Chewie. Um, so the Millennium Falcon is essentially a freighter ship. It's designed to basically do one thing, and that is run away. It is designed to hit and run. It is designed to maneuver, get in and out of situations, escape. Right, that is its primary function. It's a car. It's a freighter. It's meant to, Han was a smuggler for years, so this ship's design is kind of featured in that, and it's been customized to his liking. It's got, I don't know the names or models of anything, but it's got twin laser cannons on several points throughout it, making it able to fire at several points throughout. The ship, though each gun does need its own man. It's got a tractor beam. It's got, so does the Enterprise, by the way. I know I said I was going to mention that later, but the Enterprise has a tractor beam too. It has a tractor beam. It has the capability of going to hyperspeed, which is essentially um, similar to warp. Again, I said I was going to mention it later. I'll mention it now. The Enterprise is able to bend, use antimatter, matter, fusion to, warp space around it and travel the speed of light to a power of whatever they're choosing. So they can warp 2 is the speed of light squared, warp 3 is the speed of light cubed, so on and so forth. The Millennium Falcon is capable of doing something similar with hyperspace, where they kind of enter like a different plane of space that traveling through it is the equivalent of traveling through, millions and millions of times that amount of regular space. Though, because they are essentially converting themselves to like another energy, to like phase on another frequency, um, it has to be calculated beforehand so that they don't collide with a stray molecule and just blow themselves up. It's also got things like quantum torpedoes. It's also got things like similar heavy hitting weapons. And it's a ship that's helped take down the Death Star. It's a ship that's helped um, lead raids on the Empire. It's done a lot for a bucket of bolts that it's known for being. So who do I think wins this? So statistically, I do know there are a few things. So 100% the Millennium Falcon has the speed and the maneuverability advantage. It is designed to fly at angles, it's designed to fly upside down, it's designed to sway back and forth and, escape. And it's better at doing that than any other ship. The Enterprise is a Constitution class vessel. It's meant to set in a location and sail at a steady pace towards it. It can go fast just with impulse, but it's not, it's not meant to run away. It's not meant to, it's not necessarily meant to battle. It is designed to battle. It has been, equipped to battle because it is the one source of Federation. It is the one source of Federation military in where it's exploring. But it's not designed, specifically for battle. It's a discovery vessel. It's meant to, explore new worlds, new cultures, and boldly go where no man has gone before. So, and not only that, and I was a little surprised by this actually when I found this out. The Millennium Falcon's hyperspace is millions of times faster than even Warp 9, which I don't think has ever been done by Kirk's Enterprise. I think that's only ever been done by Picard's Enterprise, and Janeway would go to Warp 9 all the time. Um, Now, I wouldn't have thought this at first because, speed of light to the ninth power, that's insane. But it's stated that even at Warp 9.9, right? So, like, the highest theoretically they can go, unless you pay attention to the one episode of Next Gen where they do go to Warp 10, but whatever. The highest theoretical possible, speed they could go, Warp 9.9. Even at that, it would take them 70 years to cross from one side of the galaxy to the other. The Millennium Falcon in the new Star Wars movies was able to get to a casino on the other side of the galaxy in a matter of hours. Meaning, again, millions upon millions of times faster. The issue with that is that neither of these ships can really fight while at these speeds. The Enterprise has to drop shields to go to warp. It can't fire while in warp. The best thing it can do is, kind of launch a torpedo and then go to warp immediately afterwards and kind of escape the explosion. The Millennium Falcon literally can't make one stray movement out of warp, during hyperspace. It cannot deviate from the path by like a molecule, or it risks being like completely decimated. So it's not really, and this fight's not going to be won by escaping. So, funny enough, warp speed and hyperspace are actually kind of non-factors in this fight. When you take that into consideration, the Enterprise essentially has every other conceivable advantage, aside from maneuverability. It's a lot larger, and so it's going to be a little harder to hit. But unlike the Millennium Falcon, the Enterprise has equipment designed to scan enemy ships, determine what technology they have. They could use the transporter system to, board the Millennium Falcon to transport, lock onto the ship and board some crewmates and, try to shoot Han and Chewie. Everyone in the, everyone in the Enterprise who isn't a, civilian is armed with a phaser, and a phaser can disintegrate a human body within seconds. The phasers on the ship can disintegrate planets. The only weapon we've ever seen in Star Wars with the power to destroy a planet would be the Death Star, and the Millennium Falcon is no Death Star. And even then, that can blow up a planet. Phasers can disintegrate a planet just on impact. Photon torpedoes can completely wipe out civilizations. The shields are designed to take this amount of power, as well as, like I said, fly through exploding stars, get crushed by literal gods, survive being, going through these incredible, like, survive the friction of space bending around them. Whereas, you might say, well, didn't you say the Millennium Falcon's faster? Well, the Millennium Falcon doesn't fly faster. It changes its energy frequency so that it's capable of flying through a different plane of space. So it's not really, it doesn't technically have to survive friction as we know it. Um, you know, so the Enterprise just has, and this may be, like I said, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so you might think this is biased, but like it is actually crazy how insanely overpowered the Enterprise is when you compare it to the Millennium Falcon. But this is a long stated sci-fi battle. I don't think they would. This would be a great one to do. I don't think they would do this because I think someone would probably sue them if they did. Because this is like decades. This is literally like a 40, 50 year, more than that. Yeah, a 50-year rivalry that's been going on between these two ships. So yeah, and before somebody points out tactics or something, Kirk and Han are basically the same cowboy, gung ho, rebel, reckless, type of captain. So they're gonna know each other's tricks. It's not gonna work. So yeah, I just feel like this is a bit of a squash for the Enterprise, but this is obviously a fight I would want to see because this would just have me fucking geeking out the whole time. But anyway, hopefully after Hercules Sun Wukong is done, I'll do whatever prediction video for the next fight. But anyway, until then, for Blinky 95, see you.